Sir Mix-a-Lot was talking about Magic the Gathering for 3 straight minutes.
Hello and welcome to the TidBit Cast. I'm David, this is...
Gary!
And this is...
Colm!
Here at the TidBit Cast, we each bring a topic and discuss them. And I believe we're straight into Gary.
Yeah, dude, we're going to go straight inside me.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so what I want to talk about this week is, I mean, you'll probably see it from the title, but dude, Game Awards.
Dude Game Awards!
The Dude Game Awards, it just happened. The Dude Game Awards happened on December 7th, and I liked it. It was long. It was 3 hours.
3 hours, that's Lord of the Rings.
It was over 3 hours, and the entire time, I think it kept the pacing, and it was interesting throughout the entire thing. If I was watching it live, I'd be happy.
You didn't watch it live now?
No, I wasn't able to watch it live because it was at like 1 a.m. and I had to get up at 4:30 for work.
Makes sense.
So, unless I did not want to sleep.
What's more important though, sleep or games?
Oh!
Yeah. We know the answer for you.
Well, my health. My health. Why? Because I can play games when I'm not sleeping. Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could just play them and not sleep.
Yeah, I'd rather that, but I have to sleep because my body...
Your body demands it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
You're
you
a
are human.
slave.
Unfortunately. At the Game Awards this year, it was much bigger than last time. It was at the Microsoft Theatre, and God, the audience was huge. Last year is again a huge audience, but again another huge audience, and it's gotten even bigger than last time with millions of people.
It's the biggest industry, it's the biggest entertainment industry, so you kind of have to expect it, don't you?
Yeah, it's the fastest growing entertainment industry in the world at the moment. So you can imagine year after year it would be getting bigger and bigger. And a few years ago, the Game Awards were just something that, I mean, at one point it was on network television, but it was like a small thing. It was like a room that they'd show off some stuff. And over time, Geoff Keighley has really pulled out all the stops he could. At one point he put $1 million of his own money into it, with his personal funds to try and put this on, because he wasn't able to fully get sponsors. And then at one point I unfortunately cannot remember the channel that he used to be with, but the network he used to be on dropped him.
So who is Geoff Keighley? He started the Game Awards, did he?
Geoff Keighley is the presenter of the Game Awards.
Okay.
Cool.
I was going to say something snide and derivative, but I changed my mind.
I really want to hear it now. What is it?
What was it?
No,
say it.
It'll fall flat. No.
Say it.
I'll go back to sleep.
Say it.
Say it.
Dead air.
Fired. Alright.
So anyway, Geoff Keighley.
Yeah, Geoff Keighley is the presenter of the Game Awards, and he's been presenting it since the beginning. He's the creator of the Game Awards, and after they were dropped from the network, he decided, okay, so we'll just go online. And so he continued doing it online for another year, and it went well enough that he decided to try it again. And then when he tried it again, he brought it to Twitch, he brought it to any YouTube, any platform that could broadcast live. He did. And it went everywhere. It went to China, which doesn't usually get a presence on this. It went to China, over to Asia, in Europe, in America, everywhere. And
Australia?
Yeah.
New Zealand?
Yeah.
They don't like games.
It was...
Or Geoff?
Yeah, they don't know about this, Geoff. But, you have to, because he's saying games. So, it's cool.
He's saying games.
Yeah.
And saving.
Yes.
He's legitimizing the industry by actually giving it awards that are judged by our peers and not just an online vote.
When you say peers, they're not people who develop games. So how the Game Awards is that it's not developers, it's media. So it's people who are writing reviews. It's the people who
but it's the layperson.
It's the people who are doing news. And so the awards are usually based around is 50% media. So they have about 60, 70, I think last year they had about 60 media establishments. I think this year they had roughly around 60, 70 media companies. Stuff like Kinda Funny, What's Good, the same they had last year, and then you have the obvious ones like IGN, GameSpot, the bigger the bigger kind of like media sites, and each of them have to, for each of the categories, they have to give it at least 3 recommendations. And of these 3 recommendations, if you can't do 3 in any category from the people that you can't get 3 strong recommendations, then you just can't enter in that category. But people, in that industry have the integrity to just be like, oh, I can't comment enough to say that this was the best in this category. Because some of them would say, because when I was listening to this, some of them talked about how they judged it, and they said that, for example, the strategy, we don't have a strategy person, or so we might think of 1 or 2 that we thought were like quite good, but we don't know enough to recommend.
Yeah, it's not a knowledgeable opinion.
So you can't just say whatever at the top of your head. You have to get 3 strong ones and your reasons why. And if you can't really give them, you can't. And so it's kind of fair that way, because this is just, this, why not?
I like this one. It's
you
all
can't
right.
just like pick out of the hat of like 10 or so games that this, and this. It's like, no, you have to give what you think, whether it's a small indie game or it's a large AAA game. You get to choose. And then the other 50% is fan voting or viewers.
Which I don't necessarily agree with, because I know there's a whole you're gonna recommend people to go if they want to see who actually won the awards just to check it out, but like, and some low budget games did win awards.
Yeah.
But I always feel like if it's a fan thing, like popularity.
Yeah, I think the reason for having that is they want to know if that game is relevant to people. I understand that also can turn into a popularity thing, but also I'm not definite on this, but I think some of them, for example, Game of the Year, aren't as much in the fan voting. So I think it might be like even less. Like I think the fan voting, like the more not serious, but you know what I mean.
Not as
no one
important.
cares about sound design.
As in like the more, I don't know, high tier ones. The ones that like really see the credence of the entire game overall and what is the best of the best of the best of the best of like in this category. Not just saying what's the best sports or racing game, what has the best audio design, because that audio design is now going to every game the entire year, whereas best sports racing game is that one genre, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So then
audio's in all of them,
yeah.
but it's not specifically.
But now if we're going to audio design, now it's the people who know audio design will now give more credence to like those media companies. It'll now allow those ones to be able to give more clout and weight towards it, rather than just give over the popularity poll, because not everybody that's like just a fan voting will think about audio design. They'll think that, oh yeah, I like the music, and it's just like, well, that's not music, that's audio. It's not music, it's audio design. So that's why some of them are weighted differently. They're presented.
Are you sure they are, or you just think they are?
I think they are, because
Yeah.
I remember hearing that definitely the Game of the Year award is different. The percentages are different because it gives more the percentage is leaning towards the media and the people who are voting who have objective opinions, not just subjective.
Well, relatively speaking.
Relatively speaking, yeah. But these are people who like spend their day-to-day jobs critiquing games and doing the ins and outs and looking at the design of them. So if there are people to do that, it is the...
Yeah, so they are our peers, because we critique games.
Yes, we are. They're our peers.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes, TidBit for life.
That's right. Can't wait to become one of the media establishments at the Game of the Year awards.
Yeah.
Dear God, if that ever happens, I will be the happiest little bunny.
You will be.
Be a happy little bunny.
Yeah, we'll never see you again.
What's the difference with these awards and any other gaming awards?
So the other gaming awards, like for example, the Golden Joysticks happened recently. Something like last month.
And what won Game of the Year in that, David? Do you remember?
Fortnite, which came out in September 2017?
November, I believe.
I
I think it's
I don't know.
But the game isn't officially out as in like a 1.0 version of it, which at this point doesn't really fucking matter, because that game has been in like it's been in like beta early access, and like they just announced, like not announced, it's now in season 7. You do not get season 7 in any show or series
without it starting.
And without starting, like at this point, they are not just we're fixing out some of the kinks and stuff like that. No, this game is launched. This game it wasn't nominated for Game of the Year this year because the game is not out. And not just that, it doesn't matter actually, because Geoff Keighley said in terms of games that should be nominated or should not, he's likening it to the Emmys. Or the Emmys or the Golden Globes. But I think, no, more with the Emmys, do you know the way the Emmys do series?
Yeah.
For example, SNL has been nominated for Best Comedy Series for the last 20 years. But does that mean, how is that the best, even though that was really like so long ago?
There's a new series each season.
Yeah.
Each year.
Yeah.
Same with Fortnite.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is Fortnite is the best game ever.
So season 7 is the best.
So what they're critiquing
Season 5 is
on
pretty
is
good.
that just because a game is not the official, like, I didn't explain that correctly, but what I'm saying is that just because the game is not the official, like, 1.0 done, whatever, it's what the game has done in that year. Is what it is.
That makes sense.
The same with SNL, is that it's what it has done in that year. Yes, it came out like 40 years ago, and they had the 40th anniversary last year, and so they're not going to just say, oh, it's the best. Does SNL this year compared to the other ones? Is it relevant this year? Does it do what it's supposed to do this year compared to the other things in that category? Same thing in Fortnite. But Fortnite, if you want to know like any of the winners of a lot of them, I'm not going to be going over all of that. I'm going to be going over the moments that I thought were the most interesting and things that I was looking at. So if you want to see like the list of winners or any announcements that were happening that I don't mention, feel free to just go online and just look for the Game Awards 2018 presented by Geoff Keighley, and you'll find them. Or just Game of the Year Awards 2018, you'll see it. And just to finish out your question, David, with the Golden Joystick Awards, their popularity, they're strictly fans.
So it's just fan voting, is it?
Just fan voting.
Okay.
So a kid can just jump on the phone and say, Fortnite!
Literally, yeah. You can just vote online, and you can just click it. I don't know if it's single voting, or you can vote as many times as you want, because some of those do it that way. And then you have the DICE Awards, which I think are they're the closest to the Oscars
Okay.
that we'll get.
In what sense?
Because the Oscars are, all of the judges in the Oscars panels are people who make films as well.
Yeah.
And with the Game of the Year Awards, they're not media, they're developers, they're artists.
Yeah.
Same thing with the DICE Awards. They are artists, they are people who make games.
Would you not say they'd know more then?
They would know more about how the game is designed.
Would they be a little out of touch then with what the lay people think, do you think?
Yeah.
They would be. That's why that would be more of a kind of like arts thing. Whereas the media are seeing what the general public are doing, and then they're also basing it off their own opinion on what they know of.
And
Whereas
the feelings.
the DICE Awards are kind of seeing, like how this was directed, or how the overall design of this was, the core gameplay mechanics of it, how does it work, is the message of the game, does it set out to do what it wanted to do, and does it do successfully? Because that's how most review sites do 10 out of 10, is that they might have a few categories like sound, they'll do sound, visuals, it has sound, visuals,
Seeing stuff,
gameplay
hearing
mechanics
stuff.
and stuff like that, but the overall thing that reviews are trying to find out is the message, what the game is trying to do, does it do that successfully? So this is what it's trying to do, like with Spider-Man, it's trying to make you feel like you're Spider-Man, you're smooth swinging around the city, and you're able to go through you're able to go through his story, Spider-Man. Does it feel like that way? Does it feel epic to move around? Like how the music swells? Like, that is when you're trying to do reviews. And then if you go into the DICE Awards, they will see more into the also how the music swells when it moves around. When you move around, when you start to like go up a building, how the music swells, and then when you go over the crest of the building, that you feel it go into the crescendo, and you see the entire city as you're like jumping over. They would see moments as that, and the media person would kind of see how it made them feel.
So it's more emotionless.
And how the interpretation.
So game developers have no emotion.
No.
They're not humans.
No. They'll see it more objectively, whereas media will see it more subjectively. That's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
They are critiquing it, but they're not critiquing it under as much of an eye. I feel we've gone a little bit over there what the Game Awards are, but we are seeing what the contemporaries. What was I going to go on to after that? I feel like I had a point before that, but
Check your notes.
Yeah.
Check the notes.
But check the notes. So some of the moments I wanted to mention, I thought probably the best speech. Well, not the best speech. It's the most lovable character who, just no matter what he said, was a dude called Sonic Fox, who got Best Esports Competitor of the Year.
Yeah, from Dragon Ball.
Yeah, the dude who did... he also had won... he was nominated for Best Esports Moment. He didn't get it, but Sonic Fox was the dude who switched sides. He switched controllers because in Dragon Ball Fighters, Z, Fighters, however, but depending on the controller you have, you'll be on the left side or right side of the screen. So, but when you're playing online, you're always on the left side.
Yeah.
So when they're playing 2-player local on the same console, which is what you do at Evo, that means one person is on the right side, one person is on the left.
Yeah.
So he was on the right side, and while they were playing, and he was losing, and so he said, "Oh, there's a rule," and they had to go through the rule book and find this because this had not been used in I'd say over 8 years at that point. No, because everybody forgot about this because it wasn't. I don't know. People just didn't use it, and he said, "Can I use that rule, which will allow me to switch sides just before the final fight?"
So he was back on the online side pretty much.
And so he went onto the left side, which is the side that most people will play at, especially somebody who's a competitor. And so he went onto the left side, and he kicked the fucking hell out of him, and he won. And he won Evo, the biggest online, won the biggest online tournament.
And he always wears a blue hat that has
He always wears it. He's a furry. He said that he wears an entire furry suit, and he has a big. He's called Sonic Fox.
Yeah,
he wears a blue furry head.
Does he wear his costume while playing?
Mascot. He looks like a mascot.
Yeah, I know what a furry is.
Yeah,
he doesn't wear a face thing when he's playing.
No.
When he's playing, he doesn't. But when he went, you could see so many people were confused in the audience because when he won at the Game Awards, he started walking up, he put it on, and then he started doing this prowling thing where he had his two hands in front of him like a cat or like a fox, like he's prowling, and he had his tail wagging behind him and his entire furry suit on, and then he put the helmet on and started walking up, and he saw all these people in suits, very dignified,
respectable people.
Sean Layton was there, the head of PlayStation Studios, Sony Interactive Entertainment, they're in the front row, and you saw everyone's really because he's walking in front of them doing
a big fox just strolls in,
and then he went up, but he was so lovable, and every time he just went, "I'm so nervous right now, even when I've never been this nervous, even when I won Evo." And he kept doing that, and it was like Ken in Dead Rising whenever he laughs.
Was it annoying?
No, he was so genuinely lovable about it. And then he said something which I thought was really cool, which is he didn't expect to be here, and he said and at one point he even said I'm super gay, and
I'm super gay,
and he just said I'm black, gay, and a furry, and I'm also the best esports player of the year. And then he just walked off stage, and it was just so nice that it's just all these things that might have been things against him, and he has turned them into the most unique. He's one of the few esports players I can name off my hand, because he's just so unique, and he's fucking good,
and he's
too.
One of the best,
and nobody had known that rule for years, and he just put it out there. And
does that mean that the other guy could say "Oh well, I only lost because you made me switch"?
Yeah, he could say that, but also he lost.
He's a loser.
So
no one listens to losers.
It doesn't matter. He took the rules to his advantage, and he found a loophole.
Not even a loophole.
It's in the rule book that everybody forgot about, and well done to him. Sonic Fox did that, and he won Evo. Either way, he won Evo.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that he gave up his side for the other guy.
No.
I thought it was going to be a nice touchy story.
I thought you were going to say he betrayed someone.
He pretty much did
on an esports team.
But I would actually recommend anybody to see that speech. That was at the Game Awards. It was really nice.
Was he full costume given it?
He's full costume, full mascot costume.
With the mask?
As he was talking, at one point he then had to take it off, and he had really bright blue eye contacts on as well. He seems like a very nice guy, and he seems like someone who genuinely wants to talk to. Another one is, I just want to talk about the takeover, or what seems like to be the subsequent takeover that Epic Games are doing.
Ah, yes.
Is that really awardsy?
That's not awardsy, but it's something that I want to mention. Yeah, because we only found out this week, because we knew the Epic Games Store was the thing that was happening. Because they already had the Epic Games launcher. That's how you play Fortnite. You have to download the Epic Games launcher to play Fortnite.
Okay.
You have to get an Epic account, On any console you play on, you have to get an Epic account. So
Cross-platform.
Yep. So you have to be able to get an Epic Games account. So now they have the Epic Games Store, which allows you to get, some different games. And at this, they announce, I have a list here of about 10 to 13 games that they all announce at the first time I've seen the logo for the Epic Games Store. And once I saw it the first time, I then saw it several more times throughout the entire press
everywhere.
Throughout the entire awards I saw it. And even some games, one here I have in my notes that I want to see is that the Pathless coming out in 2019 to PS4 and Epic Games Store, not Steam. And now they're even taking things from Steam. Maybe it'll come on Steam eventually, but the point is, it's coming to Epic Games Store first.
Initial release.
The initial release of that game is coming to Epic Games Store on PC, not Steam. And I thought that was interesting. They had some of these cool pickups as well. They got Dauntless, a few others. It's like some of them.
Say it as quick as possible.
Right.
Go.
So, Hades, Ashen, Hello Neighbor, Hide and Seek, Journey, Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds being the game which is the new. That's the new
As
Obsidian.
quick as possible, Gary.
Quick.
Right, Outer Wilds is the new Obsidian game that's being developed by the original creators of
No,
Fallout.
we made the list.
Go.
Sorry. Hades, Ashen, Hello Neighbor, Hide and Seek, Outer Wilds, Journey, Maneater, Super Meat Boy Forever, World War Z the game, Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, Satisfactory, and Genesis Alpha 1.
Hello, neighbor.
Yeah.
I really want to play that.
So do I really want.
Yeah.
It's now out on most consoles. The Hide and Seek game, which is actually a story. That's actually like a story game to figure out how he became the neighbor.
Yeah.
How he became the way he is, and he has a family. The game is a story.
It's so deep.
You're playing his children, and you find out what happened. And
What
Outer
happened?
Wilds, which is another big announcement, that is a game that is. It's by the Fallout creators.
Obsidian.
Yeah, and it's been developed by Obsidian Entertainment. Obsidian are also the studio that did Fallout New Vegas. That kind of standalone thing.
The arguably best one. Arguably.
Arguably the best one. Very fun. They're working together to make a new one which is also set in space. And
As you do.
Hades is another game which is being developed by the same people who made Bastion, Transistor, which are two well-known indie games, which is also taking the same style as those ones, we're having an isometric action adventure game. And the one that excites me the most is Journey, because that is developed as a PlayStation exclusive. That was on PS3 and it came out as exclusive back in 2012, and it's always been exclusive. And that's a game which, because I just recently got a PS4, I haven't been able to play for a very long time. And
I have it though. It's on PS4.
yeah, I was considering just buying it again on PS4. Maybe I might just play it on Epic Games Store.
Yeah.
That would be a way to get me in, because when I saw that made me think about Journey. That made me excited about that game again, and that's a very good get for them. I didn't expect them to get something that was exclusive like that after so many years.
Would it be the same price as PS4, or would it be
When it
cheaper?
came out, I don't know, it was like $19.99. I don't know. I imagine they probably like remaster it some way. Might just like release the thing as a port, but that's a good get for them. I didn't expect Epic Games to have such a presence after just less than a week of announcing that this is the thing that was happening.
Fortnite did it.
Yeah, and it also, I wonder if people are even going to, and just talking about like the future after this, is that next year you can imagine a lot of people might even, because some of them are exclusively coming. I remember hearing that Hades and Ashen and another game, which I probably have written here somewhere, which is that Hades and Ashen and, I don't know, the Pathless are all exclusively coming to Epic Games Store. And by the way, available right now.
Oh, it's already open?
Yeah, available right
Okay.
now. These games are not just announced, they're now available. They were available the night of the Game Awards.
Yeah.
They just went, and they're out right now.
I better get my Epic account nice and early.
The Pathless, by the way, not available now, available 2019, but Hades and Ashen, yes.
Well, okay. I don't
Never
worry.
mind then.
Yeah.
Hades and Ashen and one of the other games which I didn't write down, which is annoying me. But yeah, these games are available now in the Epic Games Store. I'm probably going to download the launcher and check it out and see when Journey's coming out on it, because I think further on we're going to see them come back again, and see more gets for them, since their commission is now 12%, whereas Steam's is 30%.
Yeah.
And also Steam got a lot of shit this week because they recently said that, oh, so if your game makes 10 million, we'll put down our commission to 25%, and if your game makes over $50 million, then we'll put it down to 20% commission.
It's still 8% more than...
And so that's 10 million, which also Steam made a lot of its name, apart from obviously, Half-Life, that you had to get Steam to be able to launch Half-Life, one of the biggest games, Half-Life 2. This platform has been furthered by indies. That platform is
That's only an incentive for AAAs then.
Yeah, but the thing that really broadens out and diversifies Steam as a platform, which makes it more viable for stuff like consoles, is that they have so many indies compared to the others. Because it's so easy to port something from PC to PC. To port something from yourself to Steam. You have to develop even further and further to get it onto a console. Now you're getting more stuff going onto the Switch and the Xbox and the PS4. You've seen the consoles get way, way, way more indies, every single week. But if those indies aren't able to make 10 million, the difference in that 5% can be a lot. And if the most commission or the least commission they have to pay
is 18%.
If the least commission they have to pay is 20%, after $15 million of sales, but once you sign up in Epic Game Store, it's 12%. Straight off the box, and we won't tell any others.
Steam will lose so many people.
Steam may, because now there have been articles coming out from PC Gamer going around to all of their writers and just saying, so would you quit Steam to go into Epic Game Store? And some of them, a lot of the consensus was, well, if they have the same products, but obviously it's hard because it's only early days. But I'd still try it out as long as there's not any problems with the software. And that's been the main concern, because at the moment there's so many different other platforms like GOG or Origin or EA Access that you can just do online, different launchers. And
I've never heard of GOG.
And Uplay. Goodoldgames.com.
Uplay.
Yeah. And another one was they fucked with the audience so much.
How so?
Audience and the viewers were just messing around with trailers, and one of the Super Smash Brothers trailers was looked at the start of Animal Crossing, and which again is one of the most hyped games to be coming out next year, and a lot of people are very excited to play it. And they made it look like it was Animal Crossing. They had the villager, they had I've never played the game so I don't know, but they had some of the characters that are recognized, and then suddenly one of the characters hit the other character and went psh, and then suddenly Donkey Kong was there and they're all fighting. It's it's Smash, they're fucking with us again.
So they're in and are they, I assume?
The villagers and some of the other one of the other people from Animal Crossing is on it. And then you have Crash mascot coming out. There's a dude in the Crash costume who's coming out hey, how's it going, Geoff? How's it going? And he just brought out a big box that had the question mark on it.
Wait, was he actually talking?
Yeah, no, there was a hole in...
Crash shouldn't talk.
Please, it was so cheesy and American.
And
I was like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, rad. It's rad, man. And he had these very, very American 90s skateboarder dude.
I'm sorry to hate Crash.
Yeah, man. And he felt like somebody who's trying to sell us something, which of course they were.
Yeah.
Because he went, Geoff went over and he was like, oh, what's in this? Or, I don't know. Why don't you hit it and find out? Crash into the box. And then Geoff just went, all right, but I don't have enough time because I'm doing an award show. So he just lifts the top off and was like, yeah, that's right, fucking right, Geoff. And he just calling you out on your shit, Crash.
Then he punched Crash.
Yeah, then he just punched him in the face and started
he's getting
wailing on him.
Started wailing
Mondo wailing on him.
Mondo, cool. And then he just opened the top of it, and then what's this? And they lifted it up, and it was a trophy. I was like, what's this? A golden trophy? What could this be? Well, let's find out. And then it just went world premiere, and then it just was a remaster of Crash Bandicoot Team Racing.
Yeah.
It looks really nice. I like how Crash's tongue just waves in the wind.
I'm looking forward to playing
I've seen Cortex's worried face in HD. Crash! And probably the best moment of the entire show was Christopher Judge and I've forgotten his second name, but Sonny
Who are these people?
These are the voice actors for Kratos and Atreus. Atreus? Thank you. From God of War, the two leads, the two voice actors who play them, and seeing them walk out, and also Christopher Judge is wearing some pretty nice attire, I must say. He's looking pretty swell, pretty swanky.
What was he wearing?
He's a very nice suit, very colourful, and had a really nice shirt underneath with a nice message, and then he had like Sonny just there in a tracksuit.
As you do.
Just in a matching tracksuit like a Teen Tala. But he was like, Sonny was just there like holding the card, and they're like, alright, now to present the bet. I forget what category it was. And
no, I don't care.
I don't care.
That's not the important part.
That's not the important part.
I just care about the tracksuit and the suit.
And we're, they're kind of waiting for us, like, and now to reveal the best, whatever, Christopher Judge being, gravitas in his voice, and kind of looks around, waiting, and you can see the audience be like, well, and then the audience like, do it, and he's like, yeah, the audience going crazy. He looks down at Sonny, Christopher Judge, and read it, boy. And the entire audience went fucking crazy.
And what's the referencing? Is this referencing God of War?
Of course it's God of War!
For people who are unaware, like myself.
Yeah, because
Derry,
David
you
hasn't...
haven't even played God of War.
Yes, but that's like,
exactly.
That's a phenomenon. Read it,
So
boy. Boy.
I think we know a cold opening.
And you, just to get into more announcements that are during it, there's Dancing Devils, which is a game that's coming out, which is this trippy game, which is all about like just dodging, and there's like fighting secrets. I don't know how to describe it. It's coming out on Nintendo Switch, and it's Dancing Devil Saga, I believe.
Devil May Cry?
No. It's just weird, like
Dance Dance Revolution.
It looks like Dance Dance Revolution. It looks like the graphics and remember like the cutscenes and all the like lights and glimmer. It looks like a rave game. This game is a rave game where you're just dodging on a motorcycle, and then every so often you're doing these fight sequences, but they all look like it's part of a rhythm game. It's I don't know how to describe it.
Can you take drugs in it?
Imagine if Mortal Kombat and
Mortal
Kombat and what is that game? Demolition Racing or something.
Sunset Overdrive?
GTA?
No, there's a game that is all about you on motorcycles hitting each other with chains.
No idea.
I played it when I was younger. I can't remember. It's really annoying. I can't remember.
That's country life for you there.
But anyway, it feels like a mix of like a motorcycle fighting game, and you're dodging, mixed in with all rave graphics and Mortal Kombat.
It sounds like a lot of stuff. That's too much to process.
I can't wait till that comes out. And then there's another game announcement, world premiere, which was Atlas, which is the creators of Ark Survival Evolved, and it's coming out December 13th. And the one thing I want to mention, the reason why I thought this was cool is that the game looks alright. It looks like what Sea of Thieves should be. Honestly, which is that it's all about ships and boats going over and cross and having crews of people
and stealing.
But then there's like giant megalodon sharks that you're fighting, and then there's also dragons during warfare, but there's also you can go on land and do the same things, whereas Sea of Thieves is mostly just water based. This is like also on land, you can do all that stuff as well, like Ark. And
sounds like Land of Thieves.
Land of Thieves. Yeah, World of Thieves.
Ooh,
World
Continent of Thieves? Archipelago of Thieves?
The one thing that's interesting about this is that it says 40,000 concurrent players in the same environment.
I don't believe that at all.
That's literally what the dude said on stage.
That dude lied. He is just a liar.
These two were definitely the developers of the game because of how they looked and acted, because you can tell that they're
nerds.
You can tell they're boring.
Yeah.
Nerds.
They had no soul.
They just, one of the dudes was like very confident, was just like, well, not confident, 40,000 concurrent players in same environment.
Don't believe that.
I'm like, yeah, sure.
Why did you say confidently?
Yeah, say confidently.
That was the exact opposite of confidently.
No, and they had some like esports commercial at some point, just like saying, "Oh yeah, esports is cool." And then at one point,
esports is cool.
Chris Keighley, who is an esports player, who also happens to be Jeff's brother, Geoff Keighley, the presenter, and I just liked his quote, and he said, We say, esports is good, even though my brother's been too busy to play with me recently because he's the presenter of the awards. Of course.
Funny man.
I thought it was funny at the time when I was Look, their relationship is deteriorating.
Why is he wasting his time playing games? He
Deteriorate.
should be doing stand-up comedy. He should be.
Or playing Fortnite.
That too.
Then Pepe from the Muppets.
Yeah, so?
Yeah, it was a strange get.
Did he do anything?
He wanted to take selfies
Yeah.
because
What is a shelfie?
I think he's a prawn, so he wanted to take selfies because he's a prawn. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. And every time he tried to take one of them, right? So he would I don't know. Obviously he wouldn't click the fucking button, but every time it went to take the picture, it would just you would see the flash from the other side of the phone.
No
So that meant
way.
No way.
So this is a lying Muppet.
Yeah.
You lying Muppet.
He did it 6 times as well. There's now we get the entire... And someone was talking, and it's now we get the entire audience doing it. And it was French.
Yeah,
accent.
that's French, is
It's
it?
my authentic French.
Okay.
Jacques Lecoq.
And then,
Jacques Lecoq.
I hated that part one the most. I want to mention also probably a really, really cool thing, which is just something we don't usually see.
Shelfies.
Apart from selfies,
The French?
was after the pre-show, where showing a few things and a few announcements, whatever, and when it really got into it, Geoff Keighley was saying that something I've wanted to get for the last 5 years. I've been waiting 5 years since the start of Game Awards to do this. And I'd like to present Sean Layden, Phil Spencer, and Reggie Fils-Aimé.
And Gary, who are these 3 people?
These are the heads of their respective companies. Sean Layden, head of Sony Interactive Entertainment, PlayStation. Phil Spencer, head of Microsoft Studios, Xbox Division. And Reggie Fils-Aimé, head of Nintendo of America. You had the 3 guys standing beside each other, and you saw the 3 biggest consoles of this generation, and of the last 2 decades standing there, and you saw just everybody whoa! And for the first time, these guys are together. We've never seen them together before. We've never seen usually 2 of them together. They're always in competition, and just to see all 3 of them, because he started this off by saying, apart from E3. This is the only big event where you will see all 3 of the console, all 3 of the big consoles, and this is where you'll see all of the big publishers, the big developers in this one place, and I think it's cool that Geoff the idea of this is that he wants to bring everybody together to celebrate games, and so he wants announcements from everybody, and he wants everybody to talk about their product, not just something like inside Xbox or something like PSX. It isn't an event for every single person, and so the culmination of that is to have the 3 of those guys there, and now this is just this is everybody together, everybody that we need.
Did they try to kill each other?
No.
Did they bow?
I saw Phil Spencer at one point clench his fist.
They should have had a boxing match. They should have.
Reggie Fils-Aimé was awesome. He always is. He's a great guy. Love him.
Good man.
Love Reggie.
Never met him.
Reggie loves you, I'm sure he does.
He does. There was also a Magic the Gathering esports initiative saying there's going to be esports. And by the way, that entire trailer and that entire thing featuring narrated by Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Okay.
Want to get that through your head. The 3-minute esports kind of short of just showing loads of people who are in esports, and it was all Sir Mix-a-Lot.
180 seconds of this.
Sir Mix-a-Lot was talking about Magic the Gathering for 3 straight minutes.
How did it
At
make you
one
feel?
point, he came on screen by saying, "Even me, Sir Mix-a-Lot," and it was just him riding in on a car like a music video, and just him looking at the camera going, and then just doing some sign, Like he was like
A
doing
gang
like
sign?
yeah, I was gonna say gang sign.
Gary's throwing up his crypt sign there.
Yeah, so he was just doing that, throwing shapes. And then you had all these other people like sitting around with like headphones and shit, or like playing with cards and Magic the Gathering. It was like, where the fuck is Sir Mix-a-Lot here? It's just so weird.
It's a weird combination.
It's an awesome thing. And then you had best sports or / racing game, and you had the dude from Neverwinter come out. Neverwinter Games, the dudes who make Mortal Kombat and the Injustice series of games.
Oh, yes.
And he came out to present that. He said, all right, now the best sports racing games, now here's the nominees. And then the montage went to start off, and Scream went black, and then suddenly it's Scorpion and Raiden fighting. And after that brutal, bloody combat. Nice.
Were there children in the audience?
Oh, yes. No, no, probably not. I don't know. I don't care. I had fun.
I don't give no fucks.
I had fun, and that's all that matters. Then he just said, very. I think that was wrong. I think that was the wrong video. Probably shouldn't have shown that. So Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out, and Psychonauts 2 is coming out in 2019. Which anybody who's interested in Psychonauts, that's pretty cool.
That's a very old game.
That's a very old game, and surprising. And there's a DMC5 demo out now, only on Xbox.
Why?
Because it's the best console out there.
But it's only on
that's
Xbox.
definitely not
But I
it.
thought it was interesting. It's exclusive to Xbox. Another thing was also the block, which I think is actually really cool. It is something that has kind of been alluded to every so often with the idea of showing off people's work. So because Fortnite are doing a creative mode, this is all Fortnite stuff, but Fortnite are doing a creative mode, and now they're giving attention to the people who are playing the game. So with the creative mode, you're able to, as long as you want, when you leave the creative mode in Fortnite, you can actually go back in and your creations are still there.
Okay.
Which is nice. Everybody gets their own island to build whatever they want, and the block is those creations. There's a place called Rusty Reels is one of the maps, or one of the
Rusty Reels.
Something Reels,
Yeah.
or Rickety Reels, I don't know.
Something, I'm not sure.
Either
Rickety
fucking
wrecked.
yeah,
Really wrecked.
whatever the fuck it is, something Reels. There is now a block. It's a square like platform, kind of like the Cell games.
Okay.
But yeah, there we go. Imagine the Cell games. Imagine like an arena like that, but without the pillars. And then it is just called the block. And so on this block will be the creations of one person. Like every so often, they'll just change it.
That's
and
cool.
in different games, you'll get different people's creations in that place. So you get different people's maps that they've created in the block. Depending on what server you're on or wherever you're in the world, it'll all be different. And so it means that if you're playing Fortnite, you can now play other people who are fans of Fortnite creating levels from the creation mode that they're putting in, which I think is a really cool idea. And
But none of us play Fortnite.
no, unfortunately not.
I do occasionally.
But it's nice. It's something that Beyond Good and Evil 2 has like kind of said with, teaming up with Hit Record, Justin Gordon-Levitt's thing with, let's get loads of artists together and a bunch of like writers and a bunch of radio hosts and podcast hosts and
I've heard of
artists
them.
to do graphics on the walls, and people that make music for the radio that's going to be in the different worlds and in the universe. And it kind of reminds me of that, the
Yeah.
idea of giving attention to the people who are playing the game and people who aren't strictly just the people involved or contractors hired out. And another thing is, I don't know if you remember, but last year there was a dude who was, I think, super fucking drunk.
Colm?
No, Joseph something. He's the creator.
That's a terrible second name.
Joseph, I can't remember his second name.
Something.
His name is Joseph, and he became infamous last year at the Game Awards because he's the creative director of A Way Out, which is the game that is about two guys in prison that you work together doing
You
co-op.
have to do co-op on one
You
screen.
have to do co-op.
Oh, really?
On
yeah,
one screen.
on one screen, either local or online. You have to, and that's how you play the game. Is that the screen is split, and so you can see what the other person's doing. So, for example, there's a security guard, so one person can look out for the other one, and they'll start like, oh no, digging a hole, and then the other person will just be like, okay, the person's coming out. You can see the other person like distracting them, and then the person just hides. So you constantly have this working together. One person looking for a shave while the other person distracts someone else. Like
Casual
the
stuff.
person- yeah, casual shit. But this guy last year
Was fucked.
was shouting, and every time Geoff, and watch this video, it's hilarious. is Geoff trying to keep doing it, keep going on with the show, and this guy just goes, no, don't cut me out yet, and he continues, and he keeps going, and he goes like, and then he keeps like going like, fuck, shit, bastard, like, and it's like, he said, well, this is the fucking Game Awards, who cares about the companies, and then, and
They make
very infamously, he just went, fuck the Oscars!
Out of nowhere.
It's just so weird, and you could see Jeff's face like, no. He was like so worried.
Fuck the Oscars.
It was so weird, and I remember even backstage, a lot of the people, like even afterwards when he was like having interviews with some of the people, like Andrew Renee was doing a lot of the backstage like live streaming where she was like, after people would get an award, they would come backstage, and then there'd be like an extra thing that you could look at, another live stream, which was, so what do you think, like after you've won the award, like how do you feel about winning the award? And she was saying how, yeah, no, that dude was just really hard to talk to. Like not just like that, it was just like, this isn't just like that one time thing on stage where the camera's in front of him, just backstage as well, same thing, hard to talk to him. And that was one of the like the most downtrodden moments of the entire thing. This year,
It sounds amazing though.
this year, he opened the show, and when he was like, welcome to the Game Awards, and just to start off this Game Awards, I'm going to bring out a little surprise. And he fucking came out. He had Joseph come out again,
Yeah.
and he wants to talk to him. And every so often, Joseph will like, interrupt him. And like, and at one point, Joseph turned around and just looked at the audience and was like, yeah, but we're going to have a really good show, aren't we? And Jeff is tapping his shoulder and went, camera's behind you, buddy. And you can see him like just like taking the piss out of him and just having fun with it now. And Jeff was like just not letting him have any of it, but he did this on purpose because he didn't want to just ban him. He wanted to like give him another chance, and because of that, it was a really funny moment because I did not expect to ever see that guy again, especially the next year at the beginning of the show.
How did you feel about the Oscars this year?
He didn't mention it.
Okay.
Fuck the media.
The media.
Fuck the Emmys.
And then we have the winner of the Game of the Year award.
Fortnite.
No.
Fuck off. Oh, wait. Best mobile game. Florence. Fucking, they called it.
Best what game?
Florence.
No,
best
best-
mobile game.
Okay.
Best mobile game was Florence, which I still think is one of the best games to come out of 2018.
Did you call that on a podcast?
Yes, I did.
You've never mentioned the game before.
Yes, I did.
No, not to me.
Never heard it.
Yes, I did. Literally, the podcast is called Mobile Games.
Oh, I wasn't in that. I wasn't invited to that one.
No, you weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you
because...
knew I'd have an opinion that was different to yours.
No, you're working.
I'm super strong. I'm masculine.
Thank you, Colm.
Yeah, I say this as I'm curled in the fetal position.
It's more defense.
Yes.
So yeah, Florence.
Which I'm glad that won because it deserves it. But Game of the Year awards. It was won by God of War. Yeah,
Wad of gore.
Wad of Gore.
Yeah.
Which
Should have been Spider-Man.
again, I'm not one to kind of decide what is or isn't because I have not played God of War. I'm making my way through Spider-Man, God of War, and Red Dead Redemption 2 as we speak. So
He's playing it right now.
eventually I will have an opinion on those games when I've played enough of them to really have a judgment on them. But my thing with the game of the with any of Game of the Year or stuff like that is that
It's always weird when it's an exclusive. You know?
yeah.
That's always like I say PlayStation love that it was an exclusive.
Well, yeah, I mean, last year Nintendo would love that the two games which were, it was either going to be Zelda or Mario.
Yeah.
That was the competition last year, and even this year during one of the like cutaways, like, and join us after the break for like when they had videos. There's a live stream, but they had like videos like showing off like, oh, get rid of it.
Yeah, because they have to get stuff set up anyway.
Yeah, so they had like some like promos and stuff for like, oh, this is some charities and stuff like that, and some Facebook gaming initiatives that they're doing, like just people sponsored stuff as breaks during the live stream. But during one of the like transitions from the stage to the advertisements was, she said, and what next up we have the Game of the Year awards. What will win? Will it be Red Dead Redemption 2? Will it be God of War? Or one of the other games? And they never mentioned them. And all I thought was, well, yeah,
It's one of those two.
It's one of those two. Like, come on. It's probably going to be one of those two because those are the ones that have been considered most of it. And I think it's cool that Celeste as an indie game was considered one of the top games to be considered Game of the Year.
But it didn't win.
It didn't win, no.
And that means nothing.
One thing...
Although they can put it on the front of their cases now.
But still means nothing.
Nominated Game of the Year.
Nominated Game of the Year.
Loser of Game of the Year.
Also, what did Red Dead Redemption 2 get?
Best voice actor.
Got best voice actor, he got best music, and he got a few others. Oh, I mean, like, I should have explained that, but
best horses.
In terms of reviews, Celeste's one is, I think, maybe one of the best reviewed games of the entire year. Got 10 out of 10 from most publications.
And yeah, it wasn't Game of the Year.
IGN gave it 10 out of 10. It was the first 10 out of 10 of this year. And there was a lot of controversy kind of about that because people didn't expect this indie game, but no, the dude made the case and was like, no, it genuinely makes a case for story and platformers, and it really pushed it forward, especially for indie games. And yeah, PlayStation are so fucking over the moon because you saw Sean Layton in the very front row in the middle, and you saw Cory Barlog beside him, and then you saw the Red Dead Redemption 2 guys over there, and then you saw Spider-Man dudes beside him as well.
Spider-Man was there.
Yeah, Spider-Man was there.
Peter Parker, John.
But you saw all of the teams who were PlayStation exclusive were surrounding Layton, they were surrounding Sean, just there
protecting him.
Yeah, and so every time something would happen, you saw Cory Barlog get up, shake Sean Layton's hand, and then go up and siege.
Yeah.
And every time it was and I just want to thank you Sean Layton and Shuhei Yoshida and Robin Honeck, and it was just cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't have much of a thing, but I want to say about the Game of the Year, just as not an opinion, I want to just say that usually how I would do Game of the Year is I always think that years from now, if we look back at that game, that is the culmination of everything coming together in that year of gaming. Was the most relevant game, or the game that did it best that year. That is cementing it as games coming forward. And in 2012, there was The Walking Dead. I wouldn't consider that because that was a big game and it was the biggest game of that year in 2012. But Journey was the game that pushed art, storytelling in games, and that's why that deserved it in that year. And just in this year, these are very early impressions, but I would kind of agree with God of War from what I've seen, because I've seen that game, I've watched that game, and even from playing Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War seems more impressive. Just because God of War seems like it's doing things differently, and I've yet to see things that Red Dead Redemption 2 does completely differently, other than it's just improving upon what open world games have been doing for the last few years. But that game's been developed for 8 years.
But trying to find Lenny was really fun though.
Yeah, it was
Lenny!
so fucking fun, dude.
Lenny!
And so neither of you watched the Game Awards?
Nah.
No, I had better things to be doing.
I was sleeping.
Yeah, sleeping.
Alrighty.
Yeah. I have people to tell me these things.
Okay.
Me.
No.
I have Gary.
Fandom.
No.
What?
I have friends.
Sure.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll close up there. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I've been David. This has been
Gary.
And this has been
Colm.
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook, TidBit Cast. Please support us by subscribing on YouTube and liking, commenting.
And hit that bell notification so you can see all the latest updates.
Do that. Thanks for listening. Bye.
We're on talktotidbit@gmail.com if you want to talk to us.
talktotidbit@gmail.com.
talktotidbit@gmail.com.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Yes. How long was that one?
Oh my god, that felt long.